The Swedish Open, a major series on the World Tour. I'm your commentator, Adam Bobrow, coming to you live from Stockholm, Sweden. We've got a full day ahead. It's the final day of competition. We've got 4 singles matches, 2 semifinals on the women's side, which you can see on screen, followed by 2 men's singles semifinals. Coming up first and next will be Kasumi Ishikawa versus Chung Yi-ching. Should be an exciting showdown. It's the first seed versus the 3rd seed in the tournament. It's been a long road for both of them. And now coming out to the court, Japan's own Kasumi Ishikawa. As she makes her way out to the court, I will tell you she is the first seed in the women's singles event, currently world ranked number 6. She's 23 years old, and the left-handed player has shown quite impressive power and determination. Yesterday had a 7-gamer, tell you more about that, but her opponent, Chung Yi-ching from Chinese Taipei, the number 3 seed in the tournament, right now standing at world rank number 7, is 24 years old, only 1 year older than Kasumi Ishikawa. Both of these players still have years left to improve in their game. Our umpire for the game, Yang Suk-hee from Korea, and assistant umpire from Jordan, Ibrahim Al-Bawaliz. There we go. He'll be the assistant umpire for this match. So both players have been warming up already this morning, which is why their track pants are off, just coming out of practice right now. Chung Yi-ching being coached by her sister, Chung Ping-wei, and Kasumi Ishikawa being coached by former practice partner and current practice partner, Gao Yu-yao. She's actually been coaching her on several of the World Tour events this year. Had a chance to see her. Gao Yu-yao, former player from China. And this is common within the Japanese National Association, the women's players having their own personal coaches and practice partners from China. This could be the greatest secret for what has gotten the Japanese women so far in the world rankings up to this point. At any tournament on the World Tour, especially a major or super series, which next year will be the World Tour and the Platinum Series. I will say that Japan has had incredible participation throughout. Last week at the Austrian Open, 8 out of the top 20 women were from Japan. So here it's definitely been a shake-up in the seedings and whatnot. Umima Ito knocked out early by Kyoka Kato, which was a big surprise for many viewers. Many table tennis fans weren't even aware of Kyoka Kato. Both players checking each other's equipment. Even though they use inverted rubber on both sides of the racket, it's very important for them to know specifically which type of rubber it is. Certain rubber plays differently. I guess every rubber plays slightly differently based on thickness, tackiness of top sheet, how much sponge is underneath, which of course is the thickness factor. Chinese rubbers play different than European rubbers. And we'll get to that a little bit later when we get to Dmitry Ovcharov's match. Not too many players on the men's side right now will be using Chinese rubber. As a matter of fact, I believe only one will be, and that will be Dmitry Ovcharov, who's played with European rubber for his entire career. So a little bit about how these players got here. Kasumi Ishikawa in the opening round played Serbia's Andrea Todorovic. 4-1. Ishikawa moves on and then plays Honoka Hashimoto, the short pitch chopper from Japan. A 4-3 victory for Ishikawa. And this is where the danger lies, playing your teammates, people who know your game well. You see a lot of upsets there. Ishikawa then moved on to play Zhou Yihan from Singapore. That was a 4-1 victory for Ishikawa, and then another 4-3 victory yesterday against Li Qian from Poland, a short pitch chopper who gave an incredible performance. When you're done watching today, if you're hungry for more table tennis, make sure you go back to ITTF.com/ITTB, and you can watch the quarterfinals and anything from tables 1 and 2 throughout the tournament before. On the other side of the bracket, the other side of the table as well, Chung Yi-ching started from the bottom, now she's here. In the opening round, played Jennifer Jonsson of Sweden. 4-1. Chung Yi-ching prevailed. After that, Nina Mittelheim, young up-and-coming player from Germany with impressive touch. It was a 4-0 victory for Chung Yi-ching. Following that, Bernadette Such from Romania, 4-1 for Chung Yi-ching. And yesterday, the chopper, Seo Hyo-won from Korea, 4-2 for Chung Yi-ching. So here they are in this best-of-7 women's singles semifinal. Chung Yi-ching will start with the serve. Love all. The power that was demonstrated yesterday, Kasumi Ishikawa still has here for the first point of the game. And Chinese fans cheering for Kasumi Ishikawa here in the crowd again in Chinese. Opening forehand is strong on the step round from Chung Yi-ching. Chung Yi-ching played at the Women's World Cup in Philadelphia not too long ago, just over a month ago, and was not in top form. Played Ishikawa had a 5-2 lead when they switched sides. Again, they're switching sides to make sure that an even amount of time, an equal amount of time has been spent for each player on each side. But that last ball, Ishikawa seemed a little bit careless maybe, overly ambitious. And the different ways that Kasumi Ishikawa has won points are countless. From blocking to change of spin, long pushes, down the line shots. Little apology there for clipping the top of the net from Ishikawa, but her game is constantly changing. Last time she served from the middle, no idea where the ball was going to go. And right down the middle for the step around attack. You might recall one time where Ishikawa was standing middle of the table and served it long and wide, fast out to the forehand side. Ishikawa, a master of keeping her serves unpredictable till as late as possible. The soft touch a little bit too soft. A 1-point game. Chung Yi-ching has one more serve to tie it up. But a heavy push left short on the forehand side sets Ishikawa back into the lead by 2. Not just heavy, but very soft in its placement. Really gets under the ball to leave it so short. Chung Yi-ching has to get it from below the table. Big point to set a 3-point lead on the side of Ishikawa. The middle of the table forces some hesitation, and now it is 4 match points for the top seed Kasumi Ishikawa to come back from down 2-3 and earn herself a place in the women's singles final later today. Little off the top of the net, fortune for Kasumi Ishikawa, and a tough way to end for Chung Yi-ching, but well played by both. An outstanding match, and it's the top seed Kasumi Ishikawa, 23-year-old from Japan, who will move on to the women's singles final later today. Stick around, we've got another exciting women's singles semifinal coming right up. It's going to be defensive specialist from Germany, Han Ying, versus the European champion from Turkey, Humelek. Right after this, you're watching the Swedish Open 2016.
Semifinal nummer 2 här alldeles strax. Och i matchen efter det så får vi se vår Christian Karlsson i sin semifinal. Men först damsingel.
Speaking my truth doesn't leave a panic. No, let's not put a label on it. Let's keep it fun.
Through the flu, Chung Yi-ching definitely has a lot of power, very active game. Ishikawa moving to the middle of the table more for the serve. That was a strong block for a let service. Ishikawa standing upright quickly. It's her way of saying, I think we're going to have to play this one again. Umpires agree. Here's simply to help, not to get in the way. This is the second ball that was miscontacted by Chung Yi-ching. Not sure if that caught the finger. You can see it float up and away. Ishikawa's placement, very odd. Ishikawa looking to play the middle, get Chung Yi-ching off balance, open up some wider shots to win the point.
Net. 1-3.
Placement with the backhand and heavy spin as well. Chung Yi-ching definitely has more of a power game. There are a few players on the women's side that play a lot more similar to the men's style, come in for backhands over the forehand side of the table on the receive, more willing to step around. Chung Yi-ching very confident to step around the backhand corner. Ooh, right down the line, Ishikawa sneaks one past. I think also the amount of spin that Chung Yi-ching imparts on the ball is quite different than in the women's game. A lot shorter strokes, closer to the table, faster exchanges back and forth. They don't tend to get quite as low, back off the table, really arc the ball with more spin.
5-2. Net. 5-2.
Could see how much side spin was on that serve from Ishikawa. And I said it yesterday, but Ishikawa, not a flashy game, very consistent play, but her service variation is incredible. Soft touch, Chung Yi-ching leaves it right at the back of the table, causing a bit of confusion and trouble. A little hesitation on the opening attack from Ishikawa. Heavy underspin on the pendulum serve. Sister and coach. That's Chung Pin Wei, Chung Yi-ching's sister.
5-4.
Very subtle change, this contact, right in near the body. What appears to be underspin, doesn't have much on it. A little bit of side, possibly, well, a lot of side, possibly a little top there to fool Ishikawa.
Let. 5-4.
Now, head-to-head, these two have played 16 times. And of those 16, Kasumi Ishikawa has won 9 of them. So just a little bit in the favor of Ishikawa. Perfectly played to the middle. Nice catch by Ishikawa, but doesn't count for much. There's a step around the placement right into the elbow in the middle. Chung Yi-ching, that's the forehand, the danger that we talked about before the match started. This is what having a fan club can do for you. Make an away game feel like home crowd. The heavy push pays off. Ishikawa digging deep, goes fast and long into the body. Heavy Heavy spin shot like that, played fast and well into the body, forces a player to lift a bit more than comfortable, rush the shot. Excellent placement again, inside out from Chung Yi-Ching, a little bit of side spin. She looks quite tense out there right now. Both of these players understand this is going to be a close match, that they're going to have to play above their average level to win. Although I guess if Ishikawa's won 9 out of 16 matches, there's still going to be a lot of pressure, but on average she does win.
7, 8.
Chung Yi-Ching has definitely improved a lot over the last year, breaking into the top 10. Again, we're looking at world rank number 6 on screen, serving to world rank number 7. Touch shot, soft play by Chung Yi-Ching gives back a 2-point lead. Oh, beautiful angle right off the bounce. And the heavy push started off the rally with Chung Yi-Ching having to lift and play a slightly slower ball. Ishikawa quick to recognize and move to the middle to cover and use her backhand though. Very light on her feet. Again, the pressure is on Ishikawa with the short strokes, brings him right back. Chung Yi-Ching, a little bit longer strokes. Again, the big forehand shot, it's going to take a little more time to recover. Even the backhand, you can see the extension. But those last 2 forehands, the first one across the body, second one more typically right up to the forehead as we see. Perfectly placed in the middle again from Ishikawa. See, Chung Yi-Ching hesitated, wasn't sure which side to go with, the forehand or the backhand. And now Ishikawa, after 3 straight points, has earned herself a game point. There it is again, the backhand out wide, and the fist pump shakes for a while. Game 1 was an important one, and Ishikawa puts it in the bag. We'll be back for game 2 after this short break.
Kasumi Ishikawa inleder starkt och framförallt avslutar hon starkt med de 2 sista bollarna. Bra backhandspel ger henne seger med 11-9. Nämnas kan om denna Kasumi Ishikawa att hon är född 1993 och som främsta merit i singel har en final i damernas World Cup från 2015 bakom sig. Där hon spelade en mycket sevärd match mot Kinas Liu Shiwen. Dessvärre räckte hon inte till, men hon bjöd på väldigt, väldigt bra motstånd.
And as the players come back to the table, Kasumi Ishikawa had a little bit longer conversation in the corner. For those of you a little newer to table tennis, between games, each player has 1 minute to talk to their coach, but does not have to use the entire minute. Again, sometimes sending a short, clear message is more important for a player. Anyway, to receive that short message from the coach. Sometimes if you tell someone too much, you're telling them nothing at all. Wow, for Chung Yi-Ching to win the point after the start. Ishikawa having a full conversation in mime out there, very expressive. But the service fast and out wide to the forehand from the middle of the table. Ishikawa completely surprising Chung Yi-Ching and backing her off the table. Rip of a backhand. This is the most power we've seen from Chung Yi-Ching's backhand so far this match. Quite a different start. 3 points in a row without dropping one. A lot more fluid play right now. Chung Yi-Ching seems much looser. Again, serve, receive, and service really set up the point for a player. First 2 shots in the rally, always the most important. Chung Yi-Ching is working to get her shot first, her attack. And once again, the Chiquita now over the table. It's a strong receive from Chung Yi-Ching. Finally misses a shot. The contact catches the edge of the racket, kicking up a little bit higher. But even the block in this rally, Chung Yi-Ching playing very confidently, calmly, wise as well, of course. Surprisingly heavy push from Ishikawa. Subtle contact just like on a serve. A little tough to read. Didn't look like there was that much spin on it. Smart play coming in over the table, playing it deep after serving short to the forehand. Goes deep to the backhand corner. Gets Ishikawa in over the table, makes it tough for her to cover the backhand side. You can really feel the pressure to get that first attack in. Dangerous serve right at the baseline of the table. But it's fast enough and well placed enough that it earns Ishikawa her 3rd point this game. Aggressive attempt. It's going to be very tough to take the ball that low when it has so much topspin and counter it back. We saw it with Humelek yesterday. You got a chance to see her try that shot again later today.
3-9.
Chung Yi-Ching really moving around well to take her shots. A step behind the table, even with Ishikawa on top of the table. Again, it's Chung Yi-Ching getting the opening attacks. Not even the inside-out flip is landing. Game 2, quite a difficult game here for Ishikawa. We saw this pattern created yesterday where only one side of the table would win the game.
10-4.
And that serve was effective for Kasumi yesterday. The shovel serve with underspin. It's coming around the outside of the ball and under. But 11-4, a dominant game 2 goes the way of Chung Yi-Ching, and it's tied up at 1 game apiece. We'll be back for game 3 to see who steps in the lead right after this short break.
Seger i andra set och det med besked för Chung Yi-Ching. Vi kan ju nämna lite om Ishikawas motståndare nu när hon vann setet. Kommer alltså från Taiwan, eller som det officiellt kallas Chinese Taipei. 1 år äldre än sin motståndare. Hon är född 1992 och har de senaste åren gjort något av en kometkarriär på rankingen och avancerat in bland de 10 främsta i världen. I somras deltog hon i OS i Rio, tog sig där till kvartsfinal, men väl framme där blev det tvärstopp mot Kinas Li Xiaoxia.
This game, 10 to serve.
Back for game number 3. The fans that are here first for the earliest match of the morning, watching in anticipation. Chung Yi-ching starting off game 3 with the serve.
1 love.
How many shots does it take? Fast forehand to follow a backhand right off the bounce, ripping, and still it comes back. Ishikawa moving well, but that last ball just a little bit too soft.
Stop.
Warning on service.
Inside and run.
Sounded like there were 2 different warnings. The assistant umpire, it sounded like, said, you're dipping the ball below the table on the toss.
Yes, okay. Broke. Ball broke. Yeah.
Ball broken, Kasumi Ishikawa called it. This is not the first time this tournament we've seen a ball break in the middle of the rally. Actually, yesterday in the most dramatic match there was, Matthias Carlsen versus Jonathan Groth of Denmark. Game 7, 2-2, an exciting counter exchange, and Matthias Carlsen hit a ball. Wasn't quite sure what he was pointing at, but much like Ishikawa, he was calling the ball broke in the middle of the point. And they replayed it. The umpire said the service was inside the table, across the baseline. So hopefully for Ishikawa's sake and everybody's sake, that will be the last of the warning on service. But if it comes up again, there might be some clarity there. Bending out backhand, a little bit of side and top from Chung Yi-ching. I told you head-to-head that Kasumi won 9 out of the 16 matches that they've played. Chung Yi-ching won the last one and 3 out of the last 4 encounters they've had. A little bit late to get to that ball. Tough shot while you're still moving sideways, an all-arm shot. Table tennis power comes from the legs in combination with many other things, but footwork and leg is definitely a big part of the shot. That's why you see such strong legs on the best players and the hardest hitters in the world. Just amazing how much spin can be generated from Chung Yi-ching's backhand. It's been trouble for Ishikawa since game 2. As a matter of fact, even in game 1, Ishikawa won game 1 11-9, but it was quite close.
1-6.
Change of serve to mix things up. When you're down 1-6 in a game, it's definitely time to start changing something. And the first shot of the rally, the serve, definitely a good place to start looking for change. Don't see Ishikawa doing too many backhand serves. Now, as a left-handed player, there are going to be a lot of inside-out forehands in general. If Ishikawa can earn those shots, it might be dangerous out here, but she's finding some confidence in the backhand play out to the forehand. Not necessarily overpowering Chung Yi-ching, but changing up the timing a bit. This is an excellent serve to set up a third ball attack from Chung Yi-ching.
3-8.
Devoted fans for Kasumi Ishikawa. Again, cheering in Chinese.
9-3.
Now, I wouldn't describe this as Chung Yi-ching's strategy to leave it that high over the table, but much like a short serve to the forehand and a long attack to the backhand following, this is the result of what happened. Chung Yi-ching knew that Ishikawa was in over the table and brought it back deep to the opposite corner.
10-3.
Too much spin and deep on the table. The quality of Chung Yi-ching's loops right now just not coming back. They're more than Ishikawa has dealt with so far in this tournament. 7 game points for Chung Yi-ching. There it is, 11 points to 3. Chung Yi-ching goes up 2 games to 1 over Kasumi Ishikawa, the top seed. So Chinese Taipei's number 3 seed in this tournament here. Chung Yi-ching be in the lead as we come back for game 4 after this short break.
4 gånger de senaste 2 åren och vid 3 av tillfällena har segern tillfallit Chung Yi-ching.
Ishikawa hopping around now, getting ready to start off game 4, trying to change the trends. She wins game 1 and loses the next 2 at 3 and 4. Calm play, but focus as she keeps the racket closed. She has been going for quite aggressive shots. So far, one tactic that has changed from Ishikawa is that we're seeing more spin play rather than power attempted. This can be a safer way to make sure that your shots come down on the table. Spin will make the ball dip, obviously. And even in the blocking game, she's keeping Chung Yi-ching pinned. Top players in the world have many different skill sets in their arsenal. And blocking is something that everybody in the top, say, 100 in the world is quite comfortable with. But a forehand flip from Chung Yi-ching forces Kasumi Ishikawa off balance out wide to the forehand side. Interesting enough, at the start of this point, Ishikawa gets aggressive quickly, changes up the pattern, goes for the backhand full-out attack, and then gets sent right back into the blocking position. But even on her blocks, you can see there's some forward motion. She's trying to keep her opponent away from the net. A little apology there, Chung Yi-ching catching the top edge of her racket on the counter attack. Too wide, smart play. Ishikawa takes it early off the bounce for the wide angle. We saw this yesterday in her quarterfinal match. Many times she steps in Watch how early she takes that ball, reaches out and forward, covers it, and gives no chance for Chung Yi-Ching to get it back. A similar attempt from Chung Yi-Ching. A good read on the serve. Heavy, heavy underspin from Ishikawa. But a very open racket. Leaves the ball just over the net from Chung Yi-Ching. There's that serve, the shovel serve. It looks like topspin. The ball appears to kick out. But there's less topspin than appears, and in some cases even underspin from Ishikawa. A little bit rushed. Again, the fast footwork of Ishikawa adds some extra pressure to Chung Yi-Ching. When you see an opening on the table, but you know your opponent has a good chance to reach that place on the table, feel like you have to get there first to beat them to the corner.
Seven, five.
Finally, a point for Chung Yi-Ching, who is leading 4-3 before 4 straight points for Ishikawa. Serve again, really the contact. It looks like there's topspin on it. I feel like I've seen this serve for the first time from Ishikawa here in this tournament. It's been so effective. One of the main factors that makes it so effective is that the delivery is very similar time and time again, but the spin is different. So it's very difficult for the receiver to read. Creating your own serve is often to your advantage, something that's unfamiliar to the receiver. They're going to have a tougher time reading.
6-9.
It's one of the reasons when you think of the more creative serves in the game, from the reverse tomahawk of Ding Ning and Kenta Matsudaira to Anton Schellberg's big pullback forehand motion. These are players who get a lot of points on their serve. And the heavy spin backhander earns Ishikawa 4 game points after being dominated in the last 2 games, 11-4 and then 11-3. It's Ishikawa who's leading by 4 for a chance to tie it up.
Net.
Even on the let serve, Chung Yi-Ching clearly fooled. Middle of the net, not even the white tape at the top. 2 in a row. Surprising amounts of underspin on this serve to fool Chung Yi-Ching, and Ishikawa walks back to her corner with 2 games in her pocket. We'll be back for game 5 to see who steps into the lead after this short break. Stay right here. We're back for game 5. Chung Yi-Ching starting off with the serve at the bottom of the screen. Ishikawa from Japan at the top. Now you might recall at the start of last game, Ishikawa played slightly more passively, played safer with more topspin and less forward drive. Even a lot of blocking points from Ishikawa, and so far the trend has continued to start off Game 5. But it's that little bit flatter shot, a little lower to the net. It's been trouble for Ishikawa when she tries to overpower Chung Yi-Ching. Heavy topspin. It was last week in Austria, Miu Maeda playing against a shot that hit the edge of the racket and ended up coming down on her side of the table. It's Mizuki Morizono, very fascinating point. Sometimes those shots come down. Chung Yi-Ching taking a little bit of the medicine that Kasumi Ishikawa was dishing out, patiently blocking and placing it on the table. This is a tactic that will not work for too long, just to mix it up, keep the opponent guessing. Last shot goes a little wild. Ishikawa right on top of the table, ties it up at 3 points each. And despite being tied up in points and games, overall points in this match, Chung Yi-Ching has won 40, Kasumi Ishikawa has won 32. So if every point counted as opposed to games, Chung Yi-Ching would be leading by 8 right now. That's not how it works. Seriously, how much faster can they get out here? The longest, fastest counter exchange we've seen yet. And finally, a shot to the short side of the table for Ishikawa goes out. Down the line shot, well placed, but quick off the bounce. A high risk shot for Chung Yi-Ching. Just goes to show you how difficult it can be to take a heavy topspin shot right off the bounce. Put a forward motion, block it down the line. Outstanding point. Look at this recovery. The fastest serve we've seen probably in this entire tournament comes from Kasumi Ishikawa, and it forces Chung Yi-Ching off the table into a chop, some side spin from down low. Creative and impressive play from Chung Yi-Ching off the table. Now she's forcing Ishikawa into trying some shots that are pretty low percentage. Instead of turning and taking a forehand or trying to get over the top of that ball, brushes the outside of it. Change the timing there, breaks the rhythm, and Chung Yi-Ching left on her heels a little bit. Fast serve right back, and the third ball punch even stronger. Now 6 game points for Chung Yi-Ching to go up 3-2 over Kasumi Ishikawa, the top seed in this tournament for women's singles. Inside out forehand, and 1 game away. Chung Yi-Ching steps closer to the finish line. We'll see what happens. Game 6 coming up right after this. Back for game number 6, Kasumi Ishikawa, the top seed, starting off with the serve, is down 2-3 against Chung Yi-Ching from Chinese Taipei. That's one way to do it. Fast, long serve into the backhand to surprise the receiver and then follow up with a crushing third ball attack forehand rip. Talked to you earlier about the versatility in Kasumi Ishikawa's service. Ball's broken once again. This has to be a record. I think more balls have broken in this tournament than any tournament I've seen on the World Tour in the past nearly 3 years. This can be distracting to the players. If the balls are exactly the same quality or very close to exactly the same quality, they're going to play quite similarly. But at this level, every little detail matters. As many table tennis players know, you can hear when the ball's broken on the bounce, sometimes even at the point of contact. Quick punch, clever improvisation. Ishikawa steps in, seizes an opportunity, sees it and seizes it.
Net. Love straight.
Every single game in this match has been quite unpredictable from the start. Every game that Ishikawa has lost, she hasn't crossed the 5-point mark. 11-4, 11-3, 11-4.
4-1.
It's the most frustration we've seen from Kasumi Ishikawa. Again, she's been quite expressive this tournament. And every player is a little bit different, even from the same national association. Japan has some very quiet players and the loudest in the game as well.
2-4.
While positive reinforcement and positive attitude on the court is very heavily encouraged and taught as part of the Japanese women's program. It's just interesting to see players that do express themselves and express their frustration a little bit more. For many, that can be a good thing, I'm sure.
3-4.
3 points in a row after a strong start for Ishikawa go to Chung Yi-Ching. Suddenly it's simply a 1-point lead. Little off the top of the net, but still a strong counter. Ishikawa goes bold. And as far as the game evolving and changing every time your opponent changes a shot, after you've lost 3 points in a row, sometimes you realize you just have to take advantage of opportunities and look for opportunities that might not be so clear. Play a little more boldly, take some risks, not get too safe. Heavy push for the point. As far as safety goes, you'll see a lot of players getting into a big lead and then softening up their game, earning game points, and then relaxing a little bit too much, playing too safe for the opponent, who then comes back in. Jun Mizutani versus Shu Shin in Qatar. One of the most devastating comebacks probably in the last decade. I think before that was maybe the 2003 China Open final. Ma Lin with one of the greatest comebacks I've seen. And the power and the spin of Chung Yi-ching on both wings from a step behind the table, quite comfortable. Again, it comes from the strong legs, powering her up, getting her in position. That ball comes down on the back edge of the table. It's a 2-point game, but Ishikawa extends her lead to 4 points. Again, her fan club, the Chinese fans of Ishikawa. Just goes to show you again, whether it's learning a foreign language or showing respect for another culture, can really earn you some friends and fans. Back on the table, the back edge. Little break for Chung Yi-ching. You can see the ball changing trajectory as it shoots out into the body of Ishikawa. It's a solid serve, but the receive, it makes it look like Ishikawa didn't have a plan for her third ball. Of course she did. Every serve, these players have a plan for the next shot. In some cases, the next 2 shots. Deep understanding of the game and what's most likely to come back. Ishikawa doesn't move early, but waits and moves for the forehand to get the opening big spin shot. Coach Gao Yu-yao in the corner. Again, practice partner and coach this tournament for Ishikawa. Not the first time Gao Yu-yao has filled both roles.
9-7.
Clever parallel shot from Chung Yi-ching. This time the serve well received, the shovel serve with a good read from Chung Yi-ching. Last several times we've seen that serve, Chung Yi-ching has been immediately out of the point. Sharp shooter there in the front row. Still a 1-point lead for Ishikawa with her second serve. Despite the serve going just a little bit too long, the soft block to the backhand, and even the fast feet and strong legs of Chung Yi-ching can't get around the corner for that forehand attack. Appears that she gets there, but just misses the contact. So with the third towel break of the game, only Kasumi Ishikawa goes. And now 2 game points for Ishikawa to send this to a deciding Game 7. And the long push does it out wide to the forehand side. Very creative play. Ishikawa is going to have a little bit of momentum here, but it's a toss-up for who's going to win. Stay right here to find out. Game 7, the decider, coming up right after this.
8.
Check this out.
Final game. Change to serve. Love all.
And here we are, game 7, where you want to be as a spectator. It all comes down to this. It's the sudden death game, if you will. Chung Yi-ching to start off with the serve.
Love 1.
I guess sudden might not be perfectly appropriate. Still the first player to get to 11 points. Winning by 2, at least. Step around, and instead of going cross court, decides to play it to the short side, and it pays off for Chung Yi-ching. Then slightly softer controlled shots with spin from Ishikawa, keeping it in the backhand corner. She knows that Chung Yi-ching is likely to step around, which will open up the wide forehand side of the table. Chung Yi-ching practicing her backhand stroke there, looking for the opening cross-court shot. A little power on without stepping around. Speaking of power, moving quickly, short stroke to counterattack. First 4 points split dead even. Now, even though Kasumi Ishikawa is in the lead right now in this game, overall she's scored 47 points compared to the 58 points that Chung Yi-ching has scored. At the end of this match, the loser of the match could end up having more points, but it's whoever wins 4 games.
Time off.
The timeout is called. Those little interesting statistics regarding points might make someone say this is why you must fight for every point, but it almost sounds like the opposite. It's why maybe every point doesn't matter, and in some cases, if you know you're going to lose a game, instead of fighting really hard to come back from, say, 10-0, you might sort of get ready for the next game and start clean, save some energy. I don't know how many people would advise that, though. In general, fighting for every point is an important tactic, and giving up, although I wouldn't consider that giving up. I would consider it strategically being conservative with your energy, prioritizing. So the opening backhand shots, Kasumi Ishikawa. Looks like there's some talk about footwork and legs. While the players know this, it's still good to have a reminder what's most important. Sometimes you tense up a little bit, slows you down, especially in the 7th game of a match. You're already physically exhausted. Mentally, you have to be reminded to push yourself for what's most important, to set up the best shot. And that looked like perfect receive of direction, I would say, meaning that the coach and the conversation from Gao Yu-yao with Kasumi Ishikawa was exactly like they rehearsed. Spinning up the shot with the backhand first, and it wins the point outright. A little bit of fortune. Chung Yi-Ching's ball just grazing the edge of the table. Outstanding point, both players from off the table, 2 steps behind, running around and counter looping. A few of these shots look like they would force Ishikawa into a more passive ball a little earlier in the rally, but she changes it up, plays it down the line, and after a ball dips out in front of her, she's left just a little bit too far behind to make a quality shot. So not just moving side to side, but in and out, really having to take advantage of timing and catching the ball